Welcome back to Digital Trends Live. Again, we broadcast live every weekday, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, but this is Friday, and that means it's time for one of our favorite segments here at Digital Trends, and that is Tech Briefs with Digital Trends and Flipboard, where we bring you up to date on some of the biggest stories that have happened in technology over this last week. We try to keep it brief, we try to inform you, and we pick out the ones that we think are going to matter the most, and that's what we're going to do right now. I'm Greg Nibler, joined now by Ken Young. Hello, Ken.
Hey, Greg, nice to see you.
Good to see you as well. Again, like usual, so much happening this week, but let's talk about a couple of things and maybe start off with an actual product. And a product, I have to say, I was surprised is still going, this product line. But clearly there must be a market for it. I'm talking about Snapchat, Snap with their spectacles. These first came out a couple of years ago, these kind of augmented reality glasses. They're glasses with a camera on them, ostensibly so that you can post photos directly after using them. Not quite working that way yet. But these new ones that came out, just to give a little bit of statistics, so these are the Snap Spectacles 3. They have 2 cameras on them. They're incorporating some different 3D features. They've got some augmented reality features, which I want to get into that I think are really cool. But the price is $380. Ken, what are your thoughts on these?
So look, I think when Snap came out with their spectacles, I think what really made them kind of interesting for everyone, these were exclusive wearable devices. This was around the time when Google came out with their Glass, which everyone knew wasn't as perfect as it could have been. I mean, $1,500 for these wearable glasses. Nobody really wants to use them. But now you have Snap with their spectacles. And they were iconic because they were invite only. Like you had to find these vending machines that popped up around in different parts of the country, in parts of the world and parts of the country where there weren't tech hubs. So normal people, regular non-tech folks would be able to try them out first and become influencers themselves. And so now this has actually survived. I'm actually surprised that it's been around for now this 3rd generation. But yes, as you know, $380 for spectacles is not cheap for a lot of people. And I think that's the intent for Snap. Snap wants this to be made for those that are more fashionable, more of those that are influencers, those that are well-to-do, because this is that type of Vogue, Vanity Fair type of crowd that they want to cater to. Those that are interested in kind of becoming using Snapchat more for creators, for creating interesting stuff that will attract brands. So I think ultimately this is another way for them to capture that market. And as you note, there are 2 cameras on here. This is actually going to intentional because what Snap wants to do is to emphasize their AR features, their AR filters, and the creators that are producing these filters are making tons of money off of them. I believe there was a report that CNN published earlier this week that said that some creators are making tens of thousands of dollars just by creating AR filters. So this could be very much an interesting revenue stream for Snap, and whether or not that gets carried over to other apps such as Instagram remains to be seen.
Yeah, and I appreciate the boldness of trying to do that, create essentially a whole new marketplace. Going for the high-end side of things, that seems to be a little bit of a risky move. I feel like the high-end influencers who are going to be paying, maybe not necessarily the highest end, but $380 isn't a cheap buy at that point for something that could be kind of a novelty in a way. So that's a bold move on that aspect. If it pays off, this could be huge. Although the augmented reality features, that's something that I think that key aspect right there, less the cameras to post a picture of your dinner. The augmented reality features, that is where something that we're seeing a lot of companies do a lot of innovation in. You have Google doing it with search. You're going to start seeing more and more AR. I think even just throughout this year, we're going to see that happen more and more. So if this could be the vehicle to post more AR content and to create more AR content, they could be sitting at a good spot because nobody's really cracked the augmented reality glasses yet, or even just the glasses with cameras on them. You mentioned the Google Glass people. We all know what they were called, when they were back then, and that was the reputation they got. So we'll see where this goes. There are other companies working on things like this, but Snap with their name certainly at the forefront. Let's talk about a couple of other things, big things going on this week. We had another merger that finally happened, one that's been rumored for a while, and it's an interesting merger because technically they're under the same ownership, but they've been separated for a while, and I'm talking about Viacom and CBS. So these two companies were the same until I believe it was maybe you can correct me, I think 2006 or so they separated. broke into separate units. Viacom focusing on the movies side of things, and CBS focusing on television, now coming back together in this all new era of TV streaming wars to try to form something that can battle against the Netflixes of the world, the Disney Pluses, the NBC Universals, the Warner Medias. So a whole other group merging together now with Viacom CBS.
Right. This is basically this falls suits with everybody in the industry, right? The media industry is undergoing a consolidation because they're seeing the potential of Netflix and Disney, right? And so, but this has been a match made for a long, long time. And so, right now, you're looking at Disney with CBS and Viacom. They've been merging in 2000. Now they've been away since 2006. So now this is going to be bringing together a huge catalog. So this is going to be absolutely fascinating to experience moving forward.
Yeah, and what they're going to be able to do, I think, bringing the Star Trek worlds, because Viacom has had the Star Trek movies. CBS clearly has had some success with CBS All Access and the Star Trek television series. And so if you can combine them back together again and really develop a Star Trek universe, because I feel like that's what a lot of these TV streaming services want. They want to have something where they can bring in multiple assets into one popular franchise and have everything involved. There's a lot of potential there. If you can really create a Star Trek cinematic universe, kind of like Marvel Cinematic Universe, there could be something really huge there, because certainly that's a franchise that would be deserving of that. I mean, a lot that you can cover. And then let alone just their individual properties. I'm guessing CBS All Access is going to start merging in more movies onto that to try to beef up their streaming service to combat with everybody. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. Yeah, do you have another
absolutely.
comment on that?
I mean, you're basically looking at, like, we're recreating the traditional cable model onto the internet, and there's so much opportunity, so much potential to do that moving forward. I mean, right now you're looking at, not only can you have like all the March Madness games kind of available exclusively on CBS. Obviously, like you mentioned with Star Trek, the Star Trek universe could be very similar to Marvel Cinematic Universe, which Disney operates. So, I mean, this is going to be, gangbusters for CBS and Viacom if they can actually pull together. They already have some deep traction with their CBS All Access with the new Star Trek Discovery. Now, whether or not they can actually continue to build that with more original content and tackle that on with other shows, other movies to compete against the Amazons and the Netflixes and the Disneys of the world remains to be seen. But I think this actually gives them a good leg forward. But they have a long way to go before they actually become a juggernaut that they hoped and wish to become.
Yeah, I agree. We'll see where it's going to go. So that's what's happening with that. Let's go on to one other final story here that's just kind of a trending topic of the times, and I think we're going to start to see more and more of this with facial recognition software. We are aware of so many issues that happen with facial recognition software in misidentifying people, and there's a perfect example of this. In California, there was a study done where they ran every single California state legislator was run through a facial recognition program that is supposed to match facial IDs with known criminals. So they have a database of 25,000 criminal mugshots. And when they did that, it flagged 26 different legislators as criminals, saying, nope, that's this person, they committed this crime, that's what they did. And the ACLU is using that as kind of an impetus and really just to augment the ACLU is using this to help with their case to push a bill that would ban the use of facial recognition software on body cameras. There it is. Ken, what do you think about this?
Look, I think this is the path forward for a lot of states. I mean, first of all, if we recall, like a few weeks ago, we were talking about like San Francisco banning facial recognition technology being used by their agencies, and I believe there was a city in Massachusetts that also was impacted by this as well, but that also passed a similar legislation. And I think other cities are looking at that as well. But what's notable is that California, if they actually pass this bill, would become similar, would be the third state to actually have a ban on using facial recognition on police body cams. Now, again, this is limited just to body cams. This is not limited to, this is not going to be used across. This is not going to be banning facial recognition across the entire state, just for that particular area, and for the reason you pointed out, that facial recognition misidentifies people, specifically the 26 state senators. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this pans out, and what can technology companies and facial recognition technology providers actually do to help offset this and minimize, and to make the identification more accurate. But not California would be the largest state to ban facial recognition in body cameras. They would be third again. New Hampshire and Oregon have already banned use of that. So this is going to be very interesting to see. I think people are very concerned about their privacy, and obviously to avoid any potential implications of racial profiling or false convictions.
Yeah, there's certainly an issue that everybody who's utilizing facial software and a lot of the companies that are developing it, they need to be paying attention to that. And that's why I think this is going to be a sign of the times. To clarify this, so it's the ACLU co-sponsored AB 1215 bill, also known as the Body Camera Accountability Act. And so that's in conjunction with California Assemblymember Phil Ting, who's going to be co-sponsoring that bill. So we'll see if that goes through. But I think it's important to draw attention to it and at least get the attention of some of the software developers who are utilizing this facial recognition software and how they can actually refine that and make it better. A lot to get through today. A lot of deep stuff to talk about, but that is what we do here at Tech Briefs. We try to make you aware of what's going on in the world of technology. As usual, Ken, always a good time.
Always a great time. Thanks for having me. And everyone, listen to our podcast.
Definitely. The podcast is available. Hit subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Look it up. Tech Briefs with Digital Trends and Flipboard. Hit that subscribe button. That way you get all the notifications and you can listen to the back episodes and make sure you're aware of everything that's going on in the world of tech. And we'll be here every week to do that. All right. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks. Appreciate it.